Alter Zack? How come I'm Alter Zack? Why can't you be Alter Zack? You're my parallel universe doppelganger too. This is my show, so you're the doppelganger. How and why are you here? David and Goliath. This movie is so awful, I could not keep this to myself.
Storyteller, don't forget you're trying to be nicer now.
Oh, don't worry, researcher. I didn't bring it for him to review. I brought it for me to review. What? He's right. You are trying to be nicer. But you also want to hold Christian films to a higher standard. But you don't want to be mean about it. That's where I come in. I'm sorry, hang on. So what you're saying is, this movie is so bad that I had to conjure up the angsty parallel universe version of myself to tear it to shreds for me? You know, when you put it like that, you should probably get some professional help.
Don't look at me. I'm not going to be helpful with that case.
Fine. Okay, whatever. Alter Zack, the chair is yours. This isn't a mistake. So, David and Goliath. The tale of the young shepherd boy defeating the terrifying giant is one of, if not the most well-known accounts from the Bible. The story has been told and retold countless times over the centuries. Of course, as with any adaptation, the depiction of the people and events often stray from the source material in one form or another. Usually they just fill in some gaps for dramatic purposes, or maybe make some alterations to serve their own goals for the story. So whenever someone comes along saying that they're going to be making the most biblically accurate version of the story, people naturally get a bit excited. Enter Timothy Chey. Chey is the director of such films as Suing the Devil and The Genius Club. To say that his films tend to get mixed reviews would be an understatement. But when he said in interviews leading up to production that they had a budget of $50 million, there was hope that this one just might finally be the biblically accurate epic film people have been wanting. So, how did it come out?
You coward!
Will you shut up? He just killed a man over a bowl of beef stew. He's really crazy. Why is he crazy? Was it my beef stew? What? No! 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 No!
Oh, where do I even start? The movie tells the story of the Philistine siege of Judah in the Valley of Elah in the days leading up to the battle between David and Goliath. Or maybe it's only one day? Passage of time is really unclear in this movie. I mean, we do see a couple of night scenes, but because of the way the film is shot and edited, it's difficult to tell if we're watching a linear story or if it's jumping back and forth between different parts of the same scene. So there are a few storylines in the movie. The first follows David, as he tries to convince King Saul and the other Israelites to trust God and to not give up hope, and also to let him fight Goliath. You could sum up all of those conversations like so.
We will not let you go. Let me go. We'll not let you go. Let me go. We'll not let you go. Let me go.
A second storyline follows King Saul and his general taking turns trying to find a champion to fight Goliath and despairing about their chances. A third storyline follows the Philistine king, I assume he's the king anyway, it's never really clear, as he prowls around their camp while he cautiously waits for the besieged Israelites to starve and despair. And a fourth storyline also follows the Philistine king as he sees just how hard he can grit his teeth as he chews every scene.
Every day, Saul's men are breaking up, but they'd never send anyone. They're all cowards.
Why do you think you're in any kind of position to make deals with me? Huh?
But hey, at least this way you could say that this is a gritty movie. Boo! Now, I could go on for hours about everything wrong with this movie. The writing is repetitive and redundant. The cinematography is amateurish. The production design looks like someone raided a church basement for props and wardrobe. The sound design is atrocious. The acting is hysterically over the top and terrible. The music is barely there. The historical and cultural accuracy is questionable at best. Like I said, I could go on. So for the sake of time, let's just focus on all the issues with the sound design. Listen to the prologue and keep an ear out for the sound of a neighing horse.
It was a cruel winter that year. The wars kept coming. The Philistines, our most hated enemy, who we defeated some 20 years ago at the Battle of Michmash.
Did you catch it? Oh, don't worry, it'll come back.
And they used them to...
That exact sound effect of the horse neighing is used over and over.
Over and over.
It doesn't matter if there's even a horse in the scene. That exact low-res sound effect is used at least 66 times. Yes, I counted. But it wouldn't surprise me if I missed a few, because there are other reused sound effects that I was trying to keep track of too. For instance, there is constantly thunder rolling. Even if the sky is clear or has regular white clouds, we hear thunder throughout this entire sinking movie.
The thunder rolls and the lightning strikes.
If you thought that horse sound was repetitive, I counted thunder rolling 90 times with no visual reference for being there. Now, as annoying as all that is, what really takes the cake is Goliath himself. Now, Goliath is played by Jerry Sokolowski, who was certified by the Guinness Book of World Records in 2007 as the tallest man in Canada at 7 feet 4 inches tall.
Actually, he no longer holds that title. He's been surpassed by basketball player Sim Bular, who is 7 feet 5 inches tall.
Oh, that makes this even better. Okay, real quick, listen to these clips from the director's commentary.
And of course, you know, the fact that Hollywood's never even ventured to do this movie because they couldn't find a tall guy who could act. You know, maybe they could have gotten Shaquille O'Neal, but Shaquille's only 7'2". We got a guy who was 7'8".
Wrong.
And I know I could have gotten Shaquille O'Neal because I know all his people, and you know, I know a lot of tall actors, but I really want 7'8" or 8 foot, and it's just, you know, it was just one of those things that I thought I could pull off.
I don't know about your universe, but in mine, Shaq is 7'1". It's like this guy is a native speaker of inflationary language or something. Anyway, back to the sound. For whatever reason, most of Goliath's dialogue is a constant repetition of a few lines. And I literally mean it's the exact same takes over and over.
You little maggot!
7 times.
You coward!
9 times.
I am God! You are nothing!
8 times.
I hate your God!
4 times.
Nobody can defeat me!
13 times.
You little weasel!
5 times. There are a few others, but this review is long-winded enough. Though, I swear, at one point Goliath says, "I'll sue you" to David.
You moron! I'll sue you!
Like I said, I could go on. There are so many problems with this movie. I mean, even the director's commentary on the DVD is a production nightmare. And this thing is supposed to have cost $50 million? I would have guessed 50,000 at most, with an all-volunteer cast. I haven't been able to find out where all that money went, or how much they actually had for filming, because it sure wasn't 50 mil. But all that said, I love this movie. It is hysterically bad, like Mystery Science Theater levels of bad. Honestly, I wouldn't make such a big deal about this thing if it wasn't for all that hype leading up to production saying how this was going to be the most biblically accurate epic of our time. Or the fact that the director just keeps defending himself and lauding the production throughout the commentary. Look, Mr. Chey, if you happen to see this, there comes a point when you just have to admit that yes, your movie stinks and it didn't come out the way you hoped and planned. Because if you don't, the world notices. and you become yet one more reason for the world to mock Christians for all the wrong reasons. So, what'd you think, Storyteller?
Wow. Wow. I thought I was harsh on End Times movies.
You got to admit that this train wreck deserved far worse than what I gave it.
I don't know. I mean, as a filmmaker, I know what it's like when you have these grand plans for your film and things don't come out the way you envisioned. I mean, I don't know of any Christian filmmakers who deliberately set out to make a bad movie.
But it happens all the time. It never gets better, and I doubt it ever will. And from all the years you did your show, you know just how bad it is. I mean, that's the whole reason you quit to begin with, right? You couldn't take it anymore.
That's true.
So why bring it back now? What are you trying to prove, Storyteller? You tried to start positive, but you went right back into cracking jokes and mocking. You know as well as I do that Christians are always going to keep making David and Goliaths, or Left Behinds, or Revelation Roads. There is no hope for Christian films to get better. There is no hope for you or your little show to make a difference. You just need to give up now. Maybe he's right. Maybe this was a mistake.
Or maybe you just need something to give you some vindication.
Ooh, he's back. If you don't want to wait to see what happens next, head to my Patreon page and pledge your support for my future projects. That'll get you early access to all my films, including the entire 10th season of Indy Christian Review. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.